In the new Bike Riders movie, Norman Reedus plays a character called Funny Sunny, who was a Hell's Angel. So today, we're going to talk about the real Funny Sunny. What was his life like? We're going to have George Christie jump on the program, and we're also going to talk about how his daughter felt about how Norman Reedus played her father in the movie. Let's get into it. Big shout to the Ghosts and the Ghost Sets. Welcome to Demons Road TV, the holy grail of MC culture, where we cover everything motorcycle and motorcycle club involved. I'm Sos the Ghost. I'm your host for the evening. Get your new Demons Road shades now. They're on www.demonsroad.com. I got my special guest with me, George Christie, and we're going to talk about Funny Sunny from the Hells Angels. So, you got to see the Bike Rider movie, right?
I did see the Bike Rider movie. My wife Beverly and I went to see it, and I was really surprised that here you have a story about this, motorcycle club that's strictly males, and the members are all alpha males, and the director told it from a woman's perspective, but that may be a reflection of the Danny Lyons book. I mean, a lot of the interviews he was doing, if the movie is correct, he was doing interviews with Benny's girlfriend, and that's where he got a lot of the substance, for the things that he wrote. The way I understood it, Danny Lyons became a member, but only for a short envelope of time. And
like a Hunter S. Thompson kind of deal?
Maybe, that's the impression I got. Whether that's accurate or not, I don't know. I never, all my encounters with Taco and Stairway Harry and, outlaws that I met over the years, I never really got in a dialogue about it. We joked about the picture of Funny Sunny on the back of that Outlaws motorcycle, because that caused controversy in our club. And, the rumor was that when Funny Sunny came back, Dougie Poo kicked him out of the club, or had him pushed out of the club. And when I came,
was it because of that picture, or maybe something different?
Well, I think it had something to do with that picture. Plus, Funny Sunny took off, and I think he was a pretty free-spirited guy, and he didn't come back for a long time.
He did it. He probably did it as a gag, right?
Yeah, I mean, he went back there. He was supposed to go back there to check on a member that had left. I don't know. You have to understand, like, there's a lot of stories that are handed down, from older members to younger members. Like, I had a lot of stories handed down to me from Old Man John. Not only Old Man John, but David Ortega, who was a long-time question mark, later Hell's Angel. Dick Woods, the guy that started the question marks. I mean, these guys would tell you these stories, and people now. I wrote a story about how the Satan Slaves became a charter. They had wanted to become a Hell's Angel charter, and San Bernardino told them they were too close, and so they started the Satan Slaves. This is back in '59.
Oh, wow.
Now, whether that's true or not, I thought it was true, and Old Man John told me the story. But I put that story up as you put stories up. And you get these people that write you and go, that's not true. That's bullshit. Well, my response to them is, I don't ever remember seeing you around any campfires. And I don't remember you sitting in any meetings when Old Man John was handing down this legacy stuff to us.
I spoke to Funny Sunny's daughter, and she was pissed about the movie. She said that she really was upset that they made the teeth look like that. She took offense to that.
Well, it's interesting. I talked to John Bernthal. I don't know if you know who John Bernthal is. And after I saw the movie, I wrote him and I said, man, the movie was great. We were just cutting it up. And I said, hey, I went and saw the Bike Riders. And he said, what'd you think of it? And I go, man, I really dug it. And and I'll get into that in a minute. But he said I was going to be part of that. They had reached out to him, and the timing wasn't right for. He's got a lot of projects going, and he said, "Man, you ought to talk to Norman Reedus. Those guys are good buddies from Walking Dead."
Yeah.
And I said Norman killed it, and you're right. Like I don't remember Funny Sonny's teeth being like that.
Yeah.
And when he smiled in the movie, I was tripping. I would go, man, I don't remember his teeth like that. But that's dramatic license, man. When you're making a movie. But
Do
look,
you think he perceived it that way? Because the picture of him sitting on the back of the bike with the outlaw, he had like a gold teeth or something like that. So maybe he perceived it as that and exaggerated a little bit.
and that's very true. And next time I see John, I'll probably ask him to ask Norman. What made
Yeah.
him choose to wear those teeth, whether it was the director, a technical advisor, or they just did it for a lark. But
It'd be good if he you sit down with Norman Reedus for your channel too. That's
well, yeah,
launching.
I'd like to. I got a lot of things I want to do, and you and I are, you're running around crazy, and I'm doing the same thing. But
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of time to do a lot of this stuff. It's very time consuming,
Yeah.
and people don't understand. They think you just throw. I have people write me all the time. I'm starting a podcast, or I'm doing this, and I always say more power to them, and I wish them well. But
Yeah.
they don't understand what it entails. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, but because you're so busy, you're on TMZ one day, you're with me doing the interview the other day. Like
Well,
I saw the TMZ thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was cool, and that stuff keeps me young. I had done a interview with TMZ, several times. I did that interview with the same guy that interviewed me when Elizabeth Taylor died. You remember Elizabeth Taylor, the
Yeah.
actor,
Yeah.
actress? I'm sorry. Uh, she was in the Harleys.
Oh yeah.
Did you know that?
Oh yeah. I think Chuck Zito said he bodyguarded for her or something like
He
that.
he perhaps had.
Yeah.
I got to know her, and I used to talk to her husband, Larry Fertinsky, a lot. And when she died, the rumor was the Hells Angels were going to do security. So TMZ called me to ask me that question, and I said, no, we're not doing security. I go, we're friends and all that, but I'm we're not doing security for Elizabeth Taylor. But
Yeah.
that's how rumors start. I'm sorry that Funny Sonny's daughter was upset. I don't think anybody did it to disrespect Funny Sonny. Funny
Yeah, I don't
Sonny.
think he did it in a like a if everybody's so uptight about everything though, so and I get it, she lost her father, so little things like that maybe, but I would have been happy that someone of that caliber played my father, I would think,
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. And look, the movie was good. A lot of people out there saying they didn't like it. I've had people write me and go, "Man, you like that movie? It was told from a woman's perspective." And maybe that's what was unique about it. I thought that there was so many subtle things in that. I watched that club, and the director being he wrote it and directed it, Nichols. He had seamlessly made the transitions in the club, and it was really profound to me was once the club grew and the original Vandals were at that party, and these guys were looking at each other going, who are these new guys? And I've been through that myself, man.
Yeah.
Going with the old school guys, David Ortega, Old Man John, Slave Louie, whatnot, showing up at a party, and some younger guys come there and they dress a little different, they talk a little different, and you're just not tight with them, but yet they're wearing that same patch as you. And
Yeah.
they were having this problem of connecting with them. And, they wound up in the middle of a hurricane, man. I mean, people started getting killed. Things were happening. I mean, I watched the whole thing happen with the Hells Angels.
Hmm.
Uh, it starting with Terry the Tramp. He got hot shotted.
Yeah.
Uh, so the club went through a transition for that
For
for
the
the
people
club
that
I
don't
was
know,
in.
what does hot shot mean? Hot shotted
Well, a
mean?
hot shot is somebody gives you a drug fix that's going to kill you, and it's
Wow.
intentionally meant to kill you. And he was given a hot shot, and one of the reasons Terry got pushed out of the club was obviously there was a lot of jealousy about him. He was coming up real fast. He'd been in that movie Hell's Angels 69, kind of stole the show from everybody. He was a producer on that show, and somebody wanted to push him out of the club, and they had instilled this new rule: no shooting drugs and no using heroin in any form. And a lot of the guys shot drugs in the club, all through the 60s
Yeah.
and going into the 70s. And he got pushed out of the club because he didn't clean up.
So, tell me about Funny Sonny and little stuff that you heard about him. About
Well,
it, like how real was the way Norman Reedus played him? He was kind of like a fun-loving type of guy, right?
yeah, and that's how I saw him. I remember him. I didn't have a lot of encounters with him. He was trying to come back around the club. Dougie Poo, and perhaps it was because Dougie Poo was no longer in the club, and he thought he'd come back. I remember one time I was in Los Angeles. I gave him a couple of bucks, if I remember correctly, and you would have thought I gave him, $1,000, man. He was so excited. He had a couple of bucks put in the gas tank, and go out to San Bernardino. But that's when gas was 30 cents a gallon. A couple of bucks went a long ways.
When that picture with him and the outlaw, was that really in the time frame that they said, like the '60s or whatever it
Yes, yeah,
was?
it was
It
in the
really was.
'60s, and that book came out. People were mad. Later, he moved up to the western part of the West Coast. I don't remember if he was in Washington or Oregon. He did a show
Said
on
Washington.
Gangland. What's that?
I saw something that said Washington too.
Yeah, I think it was either state, but it's probably Washington. But I think he did a show on Gangland, made some remarks, talked about being a former member. The couple of younger members took exception to it, and somehow coerced their way into his house. They went there with an agenda to hurt him, and they beat him up with a hammer. I think there was a guy named Santa or something that was in that whole little circle. He wound up getting killed, and guys picked a couple of beefs up over it. And the guy got beat up for saying he was a former Hell's Angel. Some of these people take it a little too far. I was a former member. I've made it explicitly known that I am no longer a member because I don't want to misrepresent myself. And if people don't like what I'm doing, I don't know what to tell them. I'm going to
Yeah.
continue with what I'm doing. I'm making a historical record. A lot of people say, "Oh, that's bullshit, George. You're just trying to get famous." Well, I'm not trying to do anything. And people knew about me back in the '80s and '90s, and so nothing's really changed for me. I walked away from the club. Everybody knows I did. I made it very public. Sonny and I got in a pissing match. About the departure I had from the club. He made up a lot of lies about me, but fortunately, I didn't get caught in a trap like that. Funny Sonny got caught in that trap. He got beat up. He got hurt. And I don't think he had it coming.
Yeah. Well, thank you for giving me a little bit of insight on that, because with the movie out, everybody wanted to know about the character, and like a lot of people don't know about the real, the experiences that you went through. A lot of people don't know,
Well,
that lifestyle. That's why everybody gravitates to your words.
well, the lifestyle's changed a lot, and I it's a sad thing for me. A lot of this stuff seems to unravel. There's a lot of negative stuff. People are talking about this movie, The Bike Riders. It's they're referring to it's going to be the next wave of Sons of Anarchy copycats. That remains to be seen. We had the Wild Angels was a movie. Everybody
Mhm.
lived through that. Before that, we had the Wild One. Everybody lived through that. And
Yeah.
everybody lived through Sons of Anarchy, and everybody's going to live through the Bike Riders. I think it was a good job, and when you go there with an open mind. I think that the young guy that took over the club. It's a spoiler alert. I'm not going to try to give up too
Yeah,
much.
yeah, the kid. I was just about to ask you that too.
Yeah, I think that was a metaphor for Taco, and also
Hmm.
perhaps that was where the club started really changing and
Yeah.
became something that wasn't the original intent. But I was in it. Uh, you know, Starting in the '70s, it was a real rough era for not only the Hell's Angels, but the motorcycle world. We had the war with the Outlaws. We had the war with the Mongols, and you know, it was a tough time. Tough times come, tough times go.
So I hope you enjoyed that. Hit that subscribe button if you want to learn more about motorcycle culture. And if you're a biker, someone in a club, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a club member. If you have a story that you feel you want out there, hit me at demonsrow@gmail.com. Give me a little bit of bio and let me know if you want to be interviewed. And thank you for tuning in to Demons Row TV, the holy grail of MC culture. Like, subscribe, and comment. No, yeah, we ghosting, baby.